Chapter 6. William. Royce Estelle had taken a step too far, and William's distaste for him was dangerously close to overflowing. Who was that mediocre boy group nobody to invite Lucien Angel out for drinks, like he was any other guy? No, that man didn't know Lucien, not like William knew him. He would not let it go. He couldn't. So, he resorted to something he had thought too risky to try before, but William would be damned if Stelle continued to take any more of Lucien's precious attention than he already had. It started as something small, something pretty, just like Lucien. William left a single red rose in Lucien's spot in the break room, and he waited. It was just another time William was thankful that Lucien was the biggest idol in the company, because most of his frequented spots were used by only a small handful of individuals, so the chances of someone else stumbling upon his gifts were slim. When the idol entered the room and saw the rose, his face was painted with puzzlement. He picked it up, the stem smooth. William had made sure to trim off the thorns, and his fingers opened the tag attached by a red ribbon that read, "For Lucien Angel." William held his breath, his entire body tense as he waited for Lucien's reaction. The singer lifted the flower to his nose, inhaled the scent, and smiled. William thought his chest might burst from pure joy. The next several days were filled with more gifts for Lucien, like other red flowers that reminded William of him, little figurine blind boxes that he knew Lucien bought on occasion. A lot of them seemed to be from shows he enjoyed, and luxury candles that William bought duplicates of for himself. The thought of Lucien burning the candles in his home, filling his room with the same scent William could smell, thrilled him to no end. Eventually, that thought gave him his best idea yet. On the 5th day in a row of leaving things for Lucien, just before his day off, William left an expensive cologne in sleek black gift wrap, and he waited. Lucien walked in and spied the box, his wondering face so gorgeous that William couldn't stop staring. His graceful fingers undid the wrapping paper, and William wished so badly he knew what that touch felt like, what it would be like to be undone by Lucien Angel. When he opened the box to reveal the cologne, Lucien popped off the cap and sprayed it onto his wrist. When he sniffed his skin, his lips upturned into an approving smile as he then spritzed it over his chest. William couldn't believe it. Lucien liked it enough to wear, enough to slip it into his bag and take it with him as he left the room. William scrambled out of his chair and raced over to a bag sitting beside his bed. His hands fumbled inside, digging out a bottle of the same cologne. His grip shook as he removed the cap and began to douse Lucien's old shirt with it, the scent soaking into the fabric. He put the bottle away as carefully as he could manage, and then he held the shirt to his chest, one hand gathering a bit of the garment to hold over his mouth and nose. Lucien smelled just like that, even in the present moment. William closed his eyes as his body sank down to sit on the floor, back pressed against his bed frame, breathing heavily as his head became dizzy with thoughts of Lucien. Lucien. He felt his pants strain as flashes of a pretty pale face danced behind his eyelids, and he reached a hand down to unbutton his jeans. He stayed there on the floor for an unknown amount of time, till his body felt weak and his skin was coated with sweat. The floor between his legs was a mess, but he didn't care at that moment. All he cared about was his angel, and he hugged the shirt with both arms, his eyes shut tightly as he did his best to imagine that it was Lucien in his embrace instead. The sound of his phone vibrating at his desk snapped him out of his dreamlike state, for he knew it could only be one person. He pulled his boxers and pants back up, and then he crossed the room to sit back down at his desk. A text from Aunt Alice glowed on the screen. "Checking in." That was her way of ensuring William was still alive, and still hidden away. His years below the company building had no doubt removed a great burden from her, since she no longer had to keep an eye on him or worry about how he might act to the general public. She still had fears about him, that he was capable of great violence that she wouldn't be able to stop. William hadn't thought that was true years ago, but thinking back to Royce Estelle and his smug blonde head made him reconsider his own capabilities. He could kill someone. That wasn't a question. The issue was that, in doing so, he could either cause Lucien pain or get himself caught, neither of which was an option for William. So he typed out a quick text back to Aunt Alice, telling her that he was still doing just fine down there and that she didn't need to worry. As William turned back to his cameras and clicked through them to find Lucien, he began to have wishful thoughts. Would he ever have the chance to meet Lucien one day? It was his dream, the possibility that never failed to bring him butterflies, but he knew deep down that he wasn't worthy. He was ugly and pathetic, the exact opposite of what Lucien Angel deserved. There wasn't anyone who could match Lucien, but that didn't stop William from fantasizing. Every human on Earth was just as ugly, just as pathetic, but William had something no one else had. William could tell that Royce Estelle thought he loved Lucien. Fans thought they loved him, his family thought they loved him, and maybe they did, in their own way. But William loved Lucien. William would do anything for Lucien, it didn't matter what. His whole life revolved around the idol, every waking moment spent on Lucien in some way. If Lucien told William to lick the ground he walked on, he would. If Lucien told William to spend every dollar he had on him, he would. If Lucien told William to die for him or to kill for him, William had no doubt he would. Lucien Angel had William at his complete mercy, and he didn't even know.